What you focus, you attract. Most people don't realize this, but your mind is not just a storage unit, it's a magnet. It is designed to pull things into your life. And here's the crazy part. It doesn't pull what you want, it pulls what you focus on. That's why you can pray for success, but if all you focus on is fear, lack, and struggle, you'll keep attracting more of it. See, focus isn't passive, focus is creative, focus is a force. Every time you zero in on something with intention, you're shaping your future. You're telling your mind, your heart, your spirit, and even the universe, this is what matters to me. This is what I expect. This is what I'm ready to receive. And once you do that, everything starts moving to bring it to you. People call it coincidence. It's not. It's alignment. You cannot afford to casually focus. Casual focus leads to casual outcomes. Focus is the builder of momentum, and momentum is the multiplier of results. You want to shift your finances? Shift your focus. You want to change your relationships? Shift your focus. You want to elevate your life? Elevate your focus. Because where your attention goes, your energy flows, and your energy determines what manifests. Let me make it plain. If you constantly talk about being broke, even if you're joking, your focus is on lack. If you constantly say it's hard out here, your focus is on struggle. And guess what? You keep seeing struggle. You keep attracting difficulty. But when you focus on increase, when you talk about overflow, when you wake up expecting favor, you start walking different, talking different. That shift in focus begins to shift your entire reality. What you behold is what you become. If you keep your eyes on greatness long enough, you start stepping into it. If you stay focused on vision long enough, the vision begins to unfold. But the opposite is true too. If you focus on what's not working, you stay stuck in what's not working. So many people are more committed to their problems than they are to their potential. They are married to their excuses, but want to flirt with success. It doesn't work like that. And hear me, distraction is not just a waste of time, it is a destiny thief. If the enemy can't destroy you, he'll distract you. He'll send you drama. He'll send you delay. He'll send you comfort disguised as convenience. And if you're not focused, you'll fall for it. You'll think you're resting when you're really being robbed of your next level. Focus protects you from that. It keeps your eyes on the prize and your feet on the path. But let's take it even higher. When your focus is fueled by faith, it becomes supernatural. You're no longer just working with your strength, you're moving with favor. You're not just grinding, you're being guided. Things begin to happen faster than they should. Doors open you didn't knock on. People say yes before you even ask. That's what happens when your focus is aligned with purpose. So here's the question. What are you focusing on? Are you focused on where you've been or where you're going? Are you focused on what's missing or what's possible? Because what you focus, you attract. You don't get what you wish for, you get what you focus for. So lock in, zone in, get tunnel vision on the life you were created to live. And watch what happens when your focus becomes your faith in motion. Your mind is a magnet. It's not just a nice metaphor, it's a spiritual and psychological truth. Whatever dominates your thoughts, whatever you give repeated attention to begins to pull experiences, people, and opportunities that align with that focus into your life. It's like a frequency. You don't attract what you want, you attract what you're in harmony with. If your mind is constantly tuned to thoughts of failure, fear, or frustration, don't be surprised when your life starts producing more of the same. Because the magnet of your mind doesn't discriminate, it doesn't choose what's good or bad for you, it simply pulls what you're consistently feeding it. That's why it's dangerous to dwell on negativity, to repeat limiting beliefs, or to internalize the voices of people who told you what you can't do. If you keep playing those tracks in your head, you're programming your magnet to attract more lack, more delay, and more reasons to feel stuck. You're literally shaping your reality by the pattern of your thoughts. But the power in this truth is also the hope in it. Because if your mind can attract struggle, it can also attract success. If it can pull in stress, it can pull in solutions. If it can be conditioned for limitation, it can be reconditioned for abundance. All it takes is a decision to change what you feed your mind on a daily basis. Start thinking on purpose. Speak life over your day. Visualize the outcomes you want, not the ones you fear. When you begin to see yourself as capable, valuable, favored, and equipped, that magnet starts shifting. You'll notice new ideas flowing to you, the right people showing up, resources that were once hidden suddenly becoming visible. It's not magic, it's focus. And that focus turns into faith, and that faith activates the magnet inside your mind. The same way a compass will always point north, your mind will always pull toward whatever you believe is most real. So the question isn't just what do you want? The real question is what are you constantly thinking about? Because that's what your mind is set to attract. And it will every time. Focus is a creative force. It's not passive, it's not neutral, and it's definitely not weak. Focus is power in motion. It is the birthplace of all transformation. Nothing significant happens in your life without focus. It is the difference between movement and momentum, between activity and achievement, between simply existing and intentionally creating. Every invention, every breakthrough, every success story you've ever heard began with someone who made the decision to focus. Not just wish, not just hope, but to lock in, to put blinders on, to ignore the noise. Because when you focus, you begin to give shape to the unseen. You take the invisible, an idea, a vision, a possibility, and you start pulling it into form. That's creation. Focus sharpens your energy. It refines your decisions. It makes your yes more powerful because you've already decided what's a no. It takes scattered thoughts and aligns them in one direction, and that alignment creates acceleration. You start moving faster, thinking clearer, becoming bolder, not because life got easier, but because you got focused. And here's the key. Focus doesn't just change what you do, it changes who you become. You start thinking at a higher level. You start seeing patterns others miss. You become less reactive and more proactive. You stop being pulled by distractions and start being propelled by purpose. You literally begin to design your life instead of drifting through it. The truth is, most people aren't failing because they lack talent. They're failing because they lack focus. They're trying to do 10 things at once and wondering why nothing's moving. But when you focus, even if it's on just one thing, with clarity and intention, you activate that creative force inside you. You start producing results. You start opening doors. You start building something real, something lasting. So the question becomes, what are you willing to focus on long enough to create something that didn't exist before? Because the quality of your focus will determine the quality of your future. You are not waiting on a miracle. You are sitting on one. And focus is how you release it. Everything you want is already possible, but you have to focus long enough to create it. Energy follows attention. That means wherever your attention goes, your energy naturally flows. And that's what gives life to your results. You can't give something energy until you give it attention. And the moment you direct your attention, you begin to activate motion, momentum, and manifestation in that area. Think about it. If your attention is on your problems, your energy gets drained by worry, anxiety, and stress. But if your attention is on solutions, on possibilities, on growth, your energy gets fueled by purpose, clarity, and confidence. The object didn't change, your focus did. And with that shift, your entire experience changes. Energy doesn't just appear out of nowhere. It's pulled from your thoughts. It's directed by your focus. Your time, your creativity, your passion, all of it follows your attention. That's why you can spend an entire day doing things and still feel exhausted because your attention was scattered. You weren't aligned, you were just active. But alignment creates power. When your attention is locked in on something that matters, that lights you up, that challenges and stretches you, your energy multiplies. This is why people who are focused seem tireless. It's not that they never get tired, it's that they are being fueled by attention that's aimed at something meaningful, something bigger than them. They aren't just running on physical strength, they're running on conviction. Your relationships get better when you give them attention. Your business grows when you give it focused attention. Your health improves when your attention shifts from neglect to care. Your spiritual life expands when your attention turns to alignment, prayer, and purpose. The energy to change is always there. It just hasn't been directed yet. But the moment you shift your attention, your energy knows where to go. That's also why distractions are so dangerous. Every time you allow your attention to drift, your energy is being siphoned off into things that don't serve you. You end up tired, frustrated, and confused, not because you're incapable, but because your energy is being divided across too many unimportant things. You only have so much energy in a day, and if you waste it giving attention to nonsense, to negativity, to things that don't align with where you're going, you won't have the power to build what you were born to create. But when you take control of your attention, when you decide where your focus lives, you take control of your energy, and once your energy is fully aligned with your purpose, there's not a thing in the world that can stop you. So ask yourself, what am I giving my attention to? Because whatever that is getting all of my power. You become what you behold. That's more than a clever phrase. It's a law. Whatever you consistently look at, think about, and meditate on begins to shape who you are. Your thoughts form your identity, and your identity drives your behavior. So if you keep your eyes on greatness, you don't just admire it, you start to reflect it. This is why vision is so powerful, because when you behold a vision long enough, it starts becoming real to you. It becomes your standard. It becomes the lens you see through. And soon enough, you start making decisions from that vision, not your current condition. You begin showing up as the version of yourself that matches what you've been focused on, not the version that reflects your past, your pain, or your limitations. You were never designed to be shaped by your surroundings. You were designed to be shaped by your sight. But if all you behold is what's wrong, what's missing, what's broken, you'll begin to identify with it. And if you identify with it, you'll start to live it out, even if you hate it. That's why people stay stuck in cycles. Not because they want to, but because they keep beholding what they stare at lack and wonder why abundance won't show up. They obsess over problems and wonder why peace won't stay. You can't become something you don't look at. You can't rise above what you keep rehearsing, but flip it. When you behold abundance, excellence, joy, faith, purpose, you begin to embody those things. Your language changes, your posture changes, your decisions evolve. You stop tolerating what doesn't align with the higher version of yourself, not out of arrogance, but out of awareness. You realize, I'm not who I was, I'm becoming who I was born to be. You don't have to force that change. You just need to focus on it. The transformation is automatic when your attention is intentional. The more you behold something, the more you internalize it. And the more you internalize it, the more it comes out in everything you do, your attitude, your habits, your discipline, even the way you treat people. So the question is, what are you beholding? What images, what ideas, what words are you letting sit in your mind and heart every day? Because you don't rise to the level of your wishes. You rise to the level of your focus. And you focus on what you behold. Want to change your life? Change what you look at. Want to become the best version of yourself? Start beholding that version daily. See it until you believe it until you live it. Because what you behold is what you become every single time. Distraction is the enemy of destiny. And it doesn't come loud and obvious. It comes subtle. It comes dressed like something small, something harmless, something that says, it's just for a moment. But that moment turns into a detour, and that detour delays your purpose. Every destiny that was never fulfilled, Didn't die because of failure. It died because of distraction. Distraction doesn't just steal your time, it hijacks your focus. And once it has your focus, it has your energy. And once it has your energy, you're no longer building your vision, you're reacting to things that don't matter. You start putting out fires you never needed to be near. You start chasing approval from people who can't help you. You start scrolling through a feed instead of stepping into your future. It's important to understand distraction isn't always bad stuff. Sometimes it's good things at the wrong time. Opportunities that look appealing but aren't aligned. Conversations that feel urgent but aren't necessary. Being busy doesn't mean you're being productive. And being distracted doesn't always mean you're being lazy. Sometimes you're just unaware. But make no mistake, distraction doesn't have to destroy you to defeat you. All it has to do is delay you long enough that you miss the moment that was meant to change your life. You have to protect your focus like your life depends on it, because it does. Your destiny is attached to your discipline. And your discipline is only as strong as your ability to stay focused in a world that profits off your attention being scattered. Every second you spend giving energy to something that doesn't serve your assignment is a second you'll never get back. And you can't afford that, not with what's in you. There's something you've been called to build, to lead, to change, but it will never happen if you're constantly entertaining things that don't feed your future. You can't chase your calling and chase comfort at the same time. You can't run toward purpose while constantly looking over your shoulder at distractions disguised as detours. So the moment you feel distraction creeping in, pause, realign. Remember who you are and what you're here to do. The world needs what's in you, but it won't manifest by accident. It takes clarity, it takes intention, and it takes the kind of focus that refuses to be pulled away by anything less than your destiny. Because when you protect your focus, you preserve your future. And when you eliminate distractions, you accelerate your calling. Faith-driven focus is supernatural power. It's not just discipline, it's divine alignment. When you combine unshakable belief with relentless focus, you tap into a force that goes beyond human effort. You're no longer just relying on your hustle, you're walking in favor. You're not just pushing forward, you're being pulled by purpose. That's the power of faith-fueled focus. Faith gives your focus a foundation. It keeps you steady when things don't look like they're working. It's what allows you to lock in on the vision even when your reality contradicts it. Anybody can focus when everything's going right, when the doors are flying open and the support is loud. But faith is what keeps you focused when the path is unclear, when the crowd is silent, when the progress feels invisible. Faith reminds you, I don't have to see it to believe it. I believe it, so I will see it. That kind of focus creates motion in places that were stuck. It activates provision in ways you couldn't plan. It draws the right people, the right timing, and the right opportunities, not because you forced it, but because your focus was set, your heart was aligned, and your faith refused to move. That's not ordinary effort. That's supernatural acceleration. You stop living by sight, you start moving by revelation. You make decisions based not on where you are, but on where you're going. And that kind of movement is magnetic. It draws everything you need towards you. It disrupts limitations. It multiplies resources. It breaks cycles. You don't just grind, you glide, because grace steps in where your focus and your faith meet. But you have to understand, faith without focus is scattered energy. And focus without faith is fragile. It cracks under pressure. It quits when things get hard. But when you marry the two, faith and focus, you become unstoppable. You become clear, not because the path is easy, but because you know who's walking it with you. You know the vision came from something higher, so the provision must come too. So hold that vision in your heart like it already exists. Speak it like it's already done. Move like the answer is already on the way, because Faith-driven focus doesn't wait for the world to confirm it, it declares it, then builds it. That kind of power isn't just mindset, it's movement, it's manifestation. And when you walk in that kind of focused faith, doors open that logic can't explain. Time bends, mountains move, and the impossible bows to the inevitable. So what you focus, you attract. Your mind is a magnet, constantly pulling into your life what you dwell on most. Focus is not just about paying attention. It's about giving birth to something bigger than where you are right now. Because energy follows attention, and attention fueled by intention becomes momentum. You don't become great by accident. You become great by locking in on greatness and refusing to look away. You become what you behold. So if you keep your eyes fixed on who you were, you'll stay there. But if you set your sights on who you're becoming, on the calling, the vision, the next level, you'll rise to meet it. But understand this, distraction is not just a delay, it's a destiny detour. Every time you let something small pull you from something big, you trade power for comfort, purpose for convenience. But when you align your focus with your faith, when you stop just believing in what you see and start